Let me, in fact, go across to my colleague Pratibha, who's in the newsroom in Noida, taking us through the reactions that have been pouring in now on the social media in response to that announcement, a significant announcement made by the BCCI. Over to you, Pratibha.
Absolutely, Siddharth. Can't say it better than the herself, Mithali Raj, saying this is a new era, and the reactions that have been pouring in from Twitter also say exactly the same. Let me quickly just read out Jay Shah's tweet. I'm pleased to announce BCCI's first step towards tackling discrimination. We are implementing pay equity policy for our contracted BCCI women cricketers. The match fee for both men and women cricketers will be the same as we move into a new era of gender equality in cricket. And look at the reactions. We have over 1,200 retweets within just a few minutes, and a lot of reactions that are coming in. I'll go through the reactions as well, but he's also gone on to say the BCCI women cricketers will be paid the same match fee as their male counterparts, and also, of course, giving out the remuneration there. In the reactions that have been coming in, one of the first reactions also coming in from Smriti Irani, saying this is a welcome step, and cutting across political lines. In fact, reactions have been coming in. The Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia also reacting to the same, and he has also welcomed the move. Let me just show you that tweet right here. He has said, finally, the dream come true. That's what Manish Sisodia has said, that this is a dream come true. And if we just scroll through, you know, the kind of reactions that have been coming in, the kind of celebrations, so many people saying it's unbelievable that such a move is being taken. Finally, a huge step in the right direction. Great work. Finally, something good for women's cricket. These are the reactions coming in. You know, a lot of people on Twitter taking to social media to say that this is the beginning of a new era. Some good news for women cricketers. I appreciate BCCI for this great initiative. You know, if I could just continue scrolling down, and those are the reactions that are coming in. People taking to social media to say that this was completely unexpected, hailing the BCCI for such a decision, Siddharth.
Absolutely, Pratibha. This is a seminal moment in Indian cricket, and hopefully this is something that also is seen in other sports who take a cue from what the BCCI has done. And like Karishma also said, this was something that was sought to be initiated by the Football Federation as well, bring in parity between male and female football players in the country. So Karishma, coming back to you, we just heard Mithali Raj speak to us, the former Indian captain and a record setter as far as batting is concerned in international cricket, and she welcomed the move, but this is something that she had also brought up as long as 6 years ago, and several other legends of Indian sport, including Diana Adalji, Anjum Chopra, had hoped that one day this would materialize, and now we see that happening.
Well, yes, absolutely, Siddharth, you took some names, but Mithali Raj obviously at the forefront when we talk about women's cricket in India, whether it was about gender equality, pay disparity, everything. Mithali Raj had always been vocal about it. She was the one who would take up these issues to the competent authorities and ask them to deal with it as best as possible. And now this is something that is coming to reality.
Because we're getting a response from Rekha Sharma of NCW as well. Yes, Ms. Sharma, what's your response to the BCCI's decision bringing in pay parity for both men and women? Right, let me go across to Charu Sharma, a commentator and an opinion maker as far as cricket is concerned. Yes, Mr. Sharma, your response now to the BCCI's decision.
I find it absolutely incredible. I think it's the biggest news of the year, or perhaps the century, because it's like winning a World Cup. I still am to come to grips with what you're suggesting, that if the board has actually specifically mentioned that they're going to pay women exactly the same as the men in every grade, every form of cricket in India, that's massive. It's the biggest and the best news that the women cricketers of India could have ever received, and a massive sign for the rest of the world. Of course, India is not the first to do this, but a sign for the rest of the world to also know that India are acknowledging that women work just as hard. It's fantastic, and the kind of push it will give to cricket in India is going to be unprecedented.
Mr. Sharma, in fact, we're still awaiting the exact fine print, but I'll just read out the tweet that's been put out by the BCCI Secretary, Mr. Jay Shah. He says that BCCI women cricketers will be paid the same match fee as their male counterparts. So in tests, it's rupees 15 lakhs. In ODIs, it would be rupees 6 lakhs. And in T20s, this would be 3 lakhs. So we'll still have to wait for the implications that this might have on the central contracts that have also been announced for women's cricketers. But nevertheless, as far as the specific match fee is concerned, there is pay parity that's been now introduced.
Well, you make a good point. We don't quite know about the central contract, but I hope that that too will find parity. But as long as there's match fee parity, at least that's a huge sign, because, I mean, they do work just as hard every match they play. So I say again, it's fantastic news on the back of the fact that there could be a women's IPL as well. So all of it's sounding really good for women cricketers in India. And I hope it begins this massive surge towards playing, because as you know, I mean, women in India sadly still suffer from all sorts of barriers.
Yes.
And this is one barrier that has now broken.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your response, Mr. Sharma. This is something that's going to incentivize more women to take up the sport at the professional level. So thanks for your response. We're joined right now by several callers. We're being inundated with calls from different parts of the country welcoming this move on the part of the BCCI. Swaminathan from Bangalore now joins us. Yes, Mr. Swaminathan, what do you have to say about the BCCI's decision?
Yeah, good afternoon. It is a very, very sensible decision. It has come at the right time. This will give an impetus to the women to take cricket as a sport. I hope this is also done. Women's IPL starts and they are auctioned, they get a good price. They should also go for paying some compensation to the past cricketers who were not impacted immediately by this move. Thank you.
Right, so thank you for your response there, Mr. Swaminathan. Lots of calls coming in welcoming the decision that's been taken by the BCCI. We'll also have to actually await the official release that's also been issued by the board to see whether or not this will carry any implications as far as central contracts is concerned. But as far as the match fees go, there will be absolute parity between what male cricketers receive for Test, ODI and T20 international representation and what their female counterparts will now also get in professional cricket in India. Now, this was something that had been also introduced by the New Zealand Cricket Board in the month of June, but equal pay scales is a long-running campaign on the part of several female sportswomen who've actually campaigned for this to be implemented across different sports globally. Even Venus Williams, legend of tennis, bringing it back as far back as 2005 when she had said that this should be the norm across all sports. We're seeing that now materializing as far as Indian cricket is concerned. We're being joined right now by Aparna Popat, a former Indian badminton player as well. Popat, how do you respond to what the BCCI has now done, bringing in equal pay for male and female cricketers?
I think it's a great step in the right direction, not only for cricket, but I think it's a strong message that will resonate across the board to other sports and even outside sports, in fact. It's something that has been discussed over the years, and finally to see it being implemented, I think it's a great step, and I'm extremely happy to hear about it.
And Ms. Popat, if you could also just give us a perspective of how things are currently in Indian badminton, given the fact that the likes of Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu have done us proud on international platforms as well. Is there pay parity in badminton, and is that something that ought to be done in the event that's not the case?
So, as far as badminton is concerned, the Badminton World Federation does follow pay parity, and there's no discrimination on gender as far as prize money is concerned. But yes, there are certain areas of the sport where, there needs to be a bit of change and a bit of progress as far as this issue is concerned. But by and large, badminton is all right. And as you mentioned, we've had our female players like Sindhu and Saina and, Ashwin Jwala in the doubles doing extremely well. So we've had our big stars, but overall, it is good. It will get better in times to come.
Right. Many thanks for your response. We're also being joined by a caller from the national capital. Mr. Bahadur is speaking to us right now. Yes, Mr. Bahadur, what's your response to what the BCCI has done?
सर, बीसीसीआई का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपका बहुत धन्यवाद। ये जो बच्चे हैं जीत के लाते हैं हमारे यहाँ इतने मेडल, ये एक बहुत बड़े देश की गर्व की बात है और उम्मीद है कि भविष्य में और भी जितनी बच्चियां आएंगी इनके साथ भी हम ऐसा ही जो है व्यवहार करेंगे। थैंक यू सर।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए बहादुर जी। आई एम बीइंग जॉइंड राइट नाउ बाय पुलुनकर from Kolhapur in Maharashtra. Yes, please go ahead. What's your response to what the BCCI's decision is?
I welcome the step taken by BCCI, and this will lead to mixed cricket in future also. Once again, I congratulate the BCCI. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So these are the reactions coming in, welcoming the move that has been taken by the BCCI for equal pay for women and men. That's the announcement that has just been made. It has been hailed on social media. But viewers, we also want to hear from you. What do you think of the new move by the BCCI, unprecedented move of the BCCI announcing equal pay for women and men in cricket? In fact, Jay Shah took to Twitter, and just minutes after the announcement, congratulations poured in with people across the country hailing this decision by the BCCI. Karishma continues to stay live with us. Karishma, it's a landmark move. For a long time now, the Indian cricket has been talking about not just the kind of significance that's given to the team members, but equal pay has also been one of the long-standing demands of the cricket team. So I'm sure a lot of celebrations after this landmark decision.
Well, it's absolutely a lot of celebrations, and we were hearing Mithali Raj, very, very elated with this development when she was talking to Times Now, where she said that this is something that she has spoken about many, many years ago, but now to finally see it happening is a dream come true, and this is going to be a huge step forward when we talk about gender equality for men and women, and especially women athletes in India across sports, because we know the sort of fan following cricket has in India. It is worshipped. And now for Jay Shah to take this decision, the new team of BCCI to take this decision of pay equality between both men and women is going to set an example, is going to be a precedent wherein all women athletes will now stand up and demand equal pay, because there is no difference when it comes to competing in tournaments, when it comes to bringing laurels for the country. The struggle, the fight is the same. If you're talking about women cricketers, here they have done a lot. They have had their shares of struggle. They've had their shares of fights with the BCCI, where they were not even recognized by the BCCI to start with, when Mithali Raj, Jhulan Goswami took over, to now come to a point where there are 7-time Asia Cup champions and now rewarded by the BCCI for their terrific show in the last couple of years for equal pay, gender discrimination coming to an end in the BCCI. We're talking about test matches, 15 lakhs at par with the men's team, ODI 6 lakhs at par with the men, T20 internationals at par with the men with 3 lakh rupees fees. So clearly this is a huge step forward, and the women cricketers are going to be very, very elated with this development, and we could see Mithali Raj thanking Jay Shah and the entire BCCI for this decision that they've taken, because this is a historic decision that has been taken by the BCCI ever since the women cricketers also joined in and were recognized by the BCCI. So this is only going to motivate and give them more confidence to do well and to bring more laurels and more trophies for the country, Pratibha.
That's right. In fact, Karishma, this also paves the way for other sports, because it's not just cricket. Cricket as well, yes, the women had been fighting for equal rights and, equal shows as well, same compared to the men. Similarly, this, of course, opens up the gates for equal pay for women in the other sports fields as well.
Well, it's absolutely, like I said, what Jay Shah has announced today is going to set an example and is going to give confidence to majority of women athletes in India to stand their ground and say that we deserve equal pay, we deserve pay equal to men, because the competitions are the same, the struggle is the same, the fight is the same, and even the preparations are the same. They are in the same national camps for men and women. So obviously all these women athletes are now going to have the confidence in themselves to ask for equal pay, because BCCI is the richest board in the world, and for BCCI to set an example, to set a precedent by taking a historic decision like this, equal pay for both men and women cricketers, is also going to give voice to women cricketers across the world. We're talking about women's IPL. Mithali Raj was also talking about women cricketers have a lot of expectations from it. So only better and better things are going to be in store for women athletes from here on, whether we talk about athletes in India or women cricketers across the globe. Now give an example of BCCI and say that if BCCI, the richest board in the world, can have equal pay for its women cricketers, then why not us? That is why, from many perspectives, from many aspects, this is a historic decision that is going to stir a debate worldwide for equal pay for women athletes.